Hello everyone, how's it going? Hope you're having a good one. Welcome to my review of what I happen to think is a pretty average, pretty meh, actually borderline sort of underwhelming episode of Dragon Ball Super, if I'm being all honest. Just because, so technically, right, this is supposed to be the second elimination that we get from Universe 7, and just coming out of last week, despite the fact that I did think the execution of last week's episode had a little bit of holes in it, I still think it was a pretty impactful episode. So just coming off of that week and then just having this, it was kind of like, oh well, this is pretty average, especially for an elimination episode, right? Tien Shinhan gets eliminated, and I also need to inform you guys that next week, in case you didn't know, there will be no episode of Dragon Ball Super. We're pretty much just skipping a week. Anyway, like I said, it was a pretty average episode of Dragon Ball. I'm pretty sure you could summarize what happened in this episode in like 3 sentences. Anyway, before I get into that, I just want to let you know that ever since Krillin got eliminated, fans have turned to both the opening and the ending to try and see if they could gather some type of hints or some type of evidence that points to some type of order in the way in which the Universe 7 fighters will be eliminated. And so the first theory, the first prediction, pretty much involves this shot that I'm showing you on screen right now. And it stated pretty much that the people holding the Dragon Balls would fall according to the number that each of these Dragon Balls have. So for example, Krillin is holding the Dragon Ball with just 1 star, so he would be the first one to go. Now this theory actually got proven wrong tonight, because if you look at what Piccolo's holding, he has the Dragon Ball with 2 stars, so technically speaking he should have been the second one to go. And Tien Shinhan, who actually was the second one to go, is holding the Dragon Ball with 4 stars. So that just disproves this theory right there. Now the second theory involves the ending. And so this prediction pretty much states that the way in which the fighters will fall depends on how they're lined up and how they appear in the ending sequence. Now, this is going to be a problem for a lot of you, because if you look at the way that they're lined up, you see that Vegeta would technically need to be the third one to go. Now, this isn't like proven or anything. All I'm saying is this is something that fans have been speculating over, and if you look at the way that they're lined up, Krillin has been the first one, Tien Shinhan is now confirmed to be the second one, so it's gaining a little bit more support. However, if you ask me, I don't think like any of these predictions are substantiated. I just really think fans love making connections to try and speculate over what's going to happen in terms of the future of the tournament. So let me tell you what my biggest issue with this episode is. You're seeing it on screen already. So this guy, I believe his name is Prom from Universe 2, is just total garbage trash. I mean, oh my gosh. It's like the moment I found out what he could do, which by the way isn't much, I just thought to myself, how did he get this far into the tournament without being eliminated by somebody else? Holy crap. I mean, like he literally just reflects ki blasts and that's it. Vegeta actually calls him out. He's like, he's hiding like a coward, and he actually has no individual attacks that he can use against his opponents when he's by himself. So I mean, he literally depends on somebody else shooting him. So any type of non-energy based, non-ki related attack should have worked on him by now. Way before this point, in my opinion. I mean, Goku and Vegeta literally try throwing rocks at him. And that's another thing, right? I think the reason why he was so effective using this ability of his in the beginning of the episode was because he had those rocks to provide cover for him and to provide footing for him. But at the same time, it's like those rocks were not there from the beginning of the tournament. The platform was almost, I guess you could say, like almost recently destroyed. I think it started getting really messed up when Kale started doing her thing. So he definitely took advantage of his surroundings. But even then, the rocks like get turned against him thanks to Piccolo, because he's like, he can sense body heat, so we can just heat up the rocks and we can confuse him. However, I'm pretty sure like if you could only sense body heat, I'm pretty sure you would be able to tell the difference between a warm rock and a warm human body. I mean, look at this shot right here. Spot the difference. Tell me. Can you tell me which ones are the rocks and which ones are Gohan and Piccolo? Because I sure can. And that's another thing too. If you look at the way that Piccolo and Gohan are handled in this episode alone, in this episode by itself, you'll notice that they're not really characters within this episode. They're more like exposition tools. And what I mean by that is this. Piccolo and Gohan in this episode are just there to let you know that there is a threat, and they are also there so that the opponent can showcase their abilities on them. And that's pretty much their purpose for the entire episode. Also, Piccolo likes to sacrifice himself for Gohan. Did you know that? Yes, of course I did, because I watched Dragon Ball Z. So it's a little teaspoon of nostalgia there. Anyhow, because this is Tien Shinhan's episode to shine, he clones himself and tries to go for Hermilla. Hermilla obviously being the one responsible for shooting the beams in the first place, and Hermilla's name obviously being a reference to Herms from Twitter. I'm actually kidding. I have no idea if that's true or not. So Tien Shinhan's clones get destroyed in the process, and he tries the Kikohu, and because it's Tien Shinhan, at first you think, well, wow, he's immobilized Hermilla, but Hermilla still has enough energy left to destroy the platform that they're standing on, and also because this is Tien Shinhan, even when he wins, he loses, okay? So he's falling down, and it's like, wow, he just took that L right there, but he had some clones ready and grabbed Hermilla and just took him down with him as well. He does get some praise, though, from Beerus for pushing it to a draw, and I happen to think that's the same compliment that Tien gave his opponent in this episode as well, so it's kind of like some nice reciprocity there. But anyway, that's the story of Tien Shinhan in the Tournament of Power, because he is now eliminated. And the real hero of this episode, in my opinion, is definitely Vegeta, because he comes in and cleans shop with both Dr. Rhoda from Universe 6 and Prum. Dr. Rhoda, I guess he wanted to show off his abilities, but he never got the chance, so I'm really glad that he was cut off. Even though I'm a little bit curious about what his ability was, it's still nice to see that Vegeta just he represents the audience, I think, a lot. Also, the whole point of that scene is that once Dr. Rhoda grabbed Prum, it pretty much allowed Vegeta to just hit the both of them with a blast, because then Prum wouldn't be able to reflect the ki blast back. And by the way, just very quickly, I just want to mention how much I appreciated this profile shot of Goku and Vegeta. Very, very nice art. Now, the fight itself, and I don't know if you noticed this, is kind of isolated. It's an isolated fight, and by that I mean we don't get to see any of the other characters in the surrounding area. And so what that does, at least for me, and actually this is the first time I've noticed this, so because the fight was so isolated, it made me feel like I wasn't even watching a battle royale anymore. It was just this is a fight and the characters are there for the episode, and then we move on to other fights, but there's just, I don't know what's going on in the surrounding areas. Which is why I definitely think that the next episode will be an improvement in that regard. Because not only do we get to see fighters from Universe 11 going up against Majikayo, more specifically, I think there's a shot of Jiren versus Majikayo, as well as Dispo versus Majikayo. But we also find out that apparently there's a team up between Frost and Vegeta to try and attack the people from Universe 7. So that's pretty cool. Frost has been MIA for a while now. Not only Frost, but Frieza as well. They just kind of talked about starting trouble. They had a couple of scenes here and there. More importantly, I guess, Krillin's elimination by Frost was, I guess, the most important scene that he's had thus far in the tournament. But besides that, they haven't really been the center of attention. Now, in the preview, Goku states that Vegeta has them cornered, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to Vegeta's heat abilities. You know, how he was doing that in the tournament against Universe 7 back with Vegeta, and that was a problem because the heat was just so tremendous. It pretty much gives you a time limit to just deal with it. So it could be that that's what Frost is doing in this shot right here, or something related to that will happen there in terms of trying to bring Universe 7 down. So because they may not be able to deal with it, this kind of explains why Roshi once again is using the Mafuba technique. And Goku states in the preview that if he uses the Mafuba again, he will for sure die this time. Which is kind of weird, because I actually thought that Master Roshi had for sure died in the previous episode. He just got revived thanks to Goku. But regardless, though, I have to say that I am thankful about the fact that they're still giving Roshi something to do. And the previous episode that we got was not his last attempt to actually showcase his skills. I really like that. I really appreciate that. And, just as a reminder, we're getting very close to Goku's new transformation, his new mode, which I think people assume, and understandably so, that he will unveil this mode when he starts fighting against Jiren. And that, I think, will premiere, his mode will be shown in October, in the I think it's the second week of October, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely looking forward to that, and what the implications of that new mode mean for both him as a character and the story, as well as the other fighters of Universe 7. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. Like I said, it was a pretty average episode of Dragon Ball Super. Unfortunately, There will be no episode next week. We skip a week and then we're back to it again. So subscribe to my channel if you haven't, because I do Dragon Ball Super reviews every Saturday night. Like the video if you did. I think I said that already. If not, hey, thank you for watching. Catch you guys later.